Hello everyone, welcome to the LTM podcast powered by SLIPSTREAM Motorsport. My name is Daniel and as you can see I am by myself today, but that's okay because I've got all these lovely people in the chat here over on TikTok and YouTube. Hope everyone is doing well. Of course, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, this is, well, our Formula 1 and Supercar podcasts are exclusively live on TikTok and YouTube and then gets turned into a podcast for Spotify for all your ears to listen to. Of course, this is the Sandown 500 weekend preview. So without further ado, let's get cracking. There's not a lot of news that we need to cover this time because if you're also new here, we do cover the news weekly now. So we do have videos like that for you. You can also check out ltmotorsport.com for your latest supercar news as well. Yeah, we're finally in Enduro season. It's going to be awesome. We've seen some pretty good looking cars, and a lot of people in the chat here are actually going to the track. Jordan and Michael, I'm pretty sure you said you were going as well. Unfortunately, I won't be, as much as I would love to be there. But I'll be at the Adelaide 500. That's the next event for me in a way. But in the moment as well, I'm all focusing on the pedal pre round next weekend, the 24-hour, which is going to be insane. But that's next week. Let's talk about supercars. So let's just cover some quick news first. Obviously, the Enduro Cup is back. It's Sandown and Bathurst, 2 rounds. Hopefully, we get the 3 rounds next year with the Bend. Let's have a quick look at some liveries, shall we? I have not prepared for this moment. Here we go. Let's slap this on here. All right, so I'm going to try something new for those watching. Visually, as you can see here, you can actually see my desktop, hopefully. Yep, there you go, you can see it. So, obviously, with it not being a retro round as such, we have got some livery reveals. Starting off with this one here, which you can't actually see because I've just realised that, so that's fantastic for me. But as you can see here, we have got, what's his name? Jackson Evans with the SCT Logistics car. Now, they're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the company, so that's why there's a big-ass 50 on the car there. It looks quite nice. It reminds me of, I said to Bryce earlier, it reminds me of the Wayne Gardner livery. It's really cool, in my opinion. It looks quite nice. Should be good. Next up, we have got, this is actually, you know what, I might as well chuck this one up here as well. We've got the Boost mobile wildcard entry now, which is, of course, the Matt Charter Racing, Matt Charter Motorsport. I'm so excited to see how these guys go. Of course, he previously competed in the main game back in 22 with Cowtex, with Jay Robotham, I believe. Now he's got young Brad Vaughan with him, who will also be making his Supercar main game debut with the team. Now, what makes me excited is this is a 888 machine, and not only that, it's also the car that won Sandown last year in the hands of Jamie Whincup and Brock Feeney. So they have got a really good machine behind them, so I'm really excited to see how they go. Oh, I just noticed too, they've got Shaw & Partners as well, which is nice, so it's cool. But they were actually in a bit of trouble because a sponsor pulled out last minute, unfortunately for them. But good old Peter Adderton came to the rescue and saved the day for them, despite hating supercars. Well, in saying that, he has a love-hate relationship with the company. He still decided to support them, which is fantastic. He said he's not doing it for supercars, he's doing it for the privateers. And the car looks fantastic. All you need to do is an orange sticker on a black, and it stands out quite well. Is that not the one that Pete bought? Or is it? I can't see past my laptop, but and yes, that's right. We got Macto there as well. Fantastic. It's such a cool story, and not only that as well is that there's going to be a documentary series as well being produced, which will follow their journey up until the Bathurst 1000 this year. And it's kind of convenient that Boost Mobile is on there because if you remember back when Richie Stenaway and Greg Murphy teamed up, they had a little documentary as well. So it's sort of repeating, and that was a black and orange car too. So there you go. So he bought a brand new chassis. Yeah, righto. Okay. All right. Tom, just answering some chat here. Of course, this is live, as I said. Top 10. This is what Bryce says. Top 10 is at 5:25 p.m. Saturday. That's going to be dark. It's going to be interesting. It's probably going to go into the sunset. I don't know what time the sunset hits over there. Jordan reckons Cam can finish first with Chaz second and Brown third. That, that could be the top three, but never discount Brock Feeney and Jamie Whincup. Jamie Whincup especially is pretty strong around Sandown. Of course, Waters last year had some issues with a missing rear wing, but the lucky dog rule might change a lot of things this year, which would be cool. Tommy, do you think BJR should go back to 2 cars? Absolutely, mate. In terms of performance and money-wise, it's probably the right call. But the thing is with BJR, and what makes them unique in a way as well, they're a real family team, and I don't see them ever dropping down 4. They're not. I feel like they're not even aiming to win or anything, which is interesting. But no, I don't see them going down to 2. And this is my personal favourite livery of all time. This isn't actually, no, you know what? Before we do that, because I want to save the best for last, here's a cheeky reveal of the schedule. But, oh, look at that. Oh, LTmotorsport.com, the greatest website of all. Go there. Feel free to go there now. The link is in the description below. But with that being said, Nulon Racing were the first to actually reveal a livery for this weekend. Now, this livery is special because it's going to be used for the remainder of the year. And a lot of people pointed out, including myself, it looks very similar to... Actually, we can actually find this now while here. We go here. Look at that. Look at that stunner of a machine. I don't want to do that. I just want to... I don't know what to do. Here we go. Look at that. Obviously, it looks very similar in terms of colours. The classic 2008 white and red HRT. Just look how good that looks with the white rims. Unfortunately, that just has silver, but that's all right. We'll forgive them. And with that being said, though, now we can go to the other livery. Would I call BJR a privateer? Nah, not at this point. Not anymore. It does look like a... Sam, you're absolutely right as well. It does very much look like the Pizza Hut livery a bit as well. Let's see if I can find that. We're doing some live research here. If I go here... Okay, it does look like it. There's been some liveries that look pretty identical, but you get the idea. It does pretty much do represent that pretty well. Yeah, mate, I'm all for more races and more entries for sure. 24, because we go back to 30 cars back in the day, and that was amazing, that was cool. But unfortunately, this day and age, it's so expensive to race these things. That's why Super 2 even is only racing 6 rounds, and they're really pushing it to 13 next year for Supercars, compared to 12 this year. No spicy tabs at the top. No, Bryce, I made sure of that. I made sure of that indeed. Yeah, Jordan, I see your point. Ren White stands out very nicely. Bryce will know with his classic 2012 tribute to Peter Brock, which is apparently also for sale as well, but no one's allowed to touch it because Bryce is going to get it apparently. But yeah, no, we need more races and Supercars. It needs to be cheaper so that can happen, because one race a month is not enough. Nowhere near enough, unfortunately, in my opinion. So hopefully we can see some improvements in the future. And here's my personal favourite livery, the last one for now, because of course Penrite will be revealing their livery tomorrow, which we will be covering on ltmotorsport.com and TikTok and so forth. Here she is, the beautiful car. I'm a real sucker for this livery, so this is already probably my favourite livery of 2024. If you don't know what this is, and if you're too young to understand what it is, this is a tribute to the classic Tom's Supra, which raced in the Super GT series back in the late 90s, I think 97 or something like that. And not only that, it's famously known for being in the Gran Turismo franchise too. It is stunning, especially with the white rims as well. It looks... Is that what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is white rims. It looks really stunning, in my opinion. They've done an incredible job. And for the kids playing at home, if you don't know what the Tom Supra looks like, let's have a quick look. It is incredible to look at. Look at that. It's just chef's kiss. I can't see past my laptop here. It's chef's kiss. Like, it looks stunning. They've done a really incredible job with both of them. Castrol flavored Coke. Yeah, okay, so I got to point this out here. What Bryce is hinting at is, if you see here, Castrol and then Coke is literally next to it, awkwardly positioned. Castrol Coca-Cola. There you go. It's the new oil brand, mate. It's yeah. It might taste a bit metallic, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It looks the same, has the same color, so you might be all right. Tommy TA2 is taking over. It's cheap in comparison. Yeah, well, that's it. Because I was actually saying that at the Bend for the high-tech round, with the, obviously the TA2 cars were there. They're just so much cheaper than the supercars, obviously. So, and there's heaps more of them racing as well. But it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, I don't think supercars will go that route. But rather than go the TA2 route or the Trans Am route more than the GT route, like DTM, for example. That's what killed DTM, in my opinion, is the fact they went GT. But hey, it is what it is. All right, so that's all of the liveries now. Let's go back to my big face. Oh, there we go. But where are we going here? There we go. Yeah, it looks incredible. I'm so excited to see what Tickford can do this year, this weekend as well. It'll be really cool to see them get a win, because of course that car is known, like Livery is known to have some success behind it. So it's going to be very interesting indeed. Let's have a quick look at what to expect this weekend, I suppose. But actually, in saying that before, there is some news as well. Minor news to the Sandown 500. Because obviously, you know, these podcasts will be shorter now because we cover the news weekly. But I technically forgot this livery. Hang on. I forgot to show this livery already. It was kind of old news. But you're more than welcome to have a look here. I'll look at that, ltmotorsport.com. Such a good website. Shout out to Alex for writing this article up. But the other wildcard entry as well, the Super Cheap Auto one. I've got a slightly new livery this weekend. It's a bit more black, and it's also a brand new chassis as well after the crash in Darwin. I'm excited to see what these guys can do. Of course, Cooper's now officially announced as Erebus's driver next year. It's going to be awesome. JMO, unfortunately, I'm not going this year. Hopefully, I'll go one day. I've never been before, so hopefully one day we'll see what happens. Sam, I have locked in Will, but I'm honestly really excited to see how it folds up. Alex reckons it's Chaz. I reckon it's Will. I'm going to say Will just because we get some team rivalry there. So we see what happens. But I'm very stoked. This year's actually pretty exciting, I must admit. Considering we get one race a month, it's not bad. Yes, that's right. Good point. Good point. I've got to do some live editing here. Hopefully you don't see anything naughty. Not saying you will, but... Matt Stone. Yep, that's it. No, I don't know who Matt Stone Street is. Shout out to you, I guess. There we go. Yeah, of course. That's right, Bryce. This was like announced ages ago, like a long time ago. You saw it. There it is. As you see there, the SP Tools legit livery is back. Of course, I think Todd Hazelwood ran that one as well a couple of years back. But of course, you know, the colours are very similar to Shane Van Gisbergen back in the day as well, which is really, really cool. Nathaniel, I race virtual cars. I've driven a go-kart and a race car slowly, but that's about it. But virtually, I race all the time on there. Oh, considering I'm a dad, it's kind of tricky, but I make it work. Waters to sponsor Coca-Cola next year? Yeah, maybe. Well, the thing is, the Monster sponsorship is very interesting, as you said, because you hinted at, actually, you showed me something, saying about car collectibles or something like that aren't able to make Monster ones yet. So they could potentially be dropping out. It'll be very interesting. But the thing is, Coca-Cola owns Monster Energy from memory as well. So, I don't know. Who knows? But Cam Waters could use a new livery for once, like the DJR guys, which is ridiculous how we've had that livery for the same time every year. What else are we looking here? Yeah, that's right. I agree. This livery should stay there all time. Like, it's fantastic. I love it. It looks really cool. Anywho, we'll go back to my face again because that's it for now. But that's all the liveries, at least until tomorrow. Of course, we get the Penrite one. Another news for Sandown is I don't know if this has actually been approved yet, but we've got a new fuel pump, actually a new fuel component, which should improve pit stop times. Should instead of taking a minute to fill the tank from 0 to 100, it will take 20 seconds. That's the idea anyway. So basically, all that's changing. Now, this was aimed to be done by Sandown. Whether it's been done yet, I don't know. But basically, a larger connected hose adapter was designed to facilitate a quicker fuel flow. Supercars have also increased the feed hose diameter from 40mm to 50mm, which hopefully improves fuel flow from the tower to the single probe used for both refueling and venting. So we might see some quicker pit stops this weekend. It'll be very interesting to see. Be very cool. JLR, hey going, man. I don't think cams will change. Monster dictates the livery for the most. Yeah, that's it. See, that's the thing. Red Bull heavily dictates their liveries. That's why it looks like it does now. That's why Monster looks like how it does now. And that's why Shell looks like how it does now. A lot of people criticize the teams, but at the end of the day, you get told, and I've actually experienced this personally now while watching Ivan, for example, with the new sponsor Grinio, which is an incredible sponsor, by the way, for SLIPSTREAM Motorsport. But it was really interesting to get an insight on how liveries work, because every little change, even if it was very minor, you had to get approval from the sponsor themselves. So it is very tricky, of course, but hey, it is what it is. Yes, this is the last. That's right. It is the last round for TCM. A lot of changes in the motorsport world, actually, Bryce. You pointed that out. Like TCM has been around for forever. But also the Speed Series is coming to an end as well. SRO Motorsport Australia will be taking over from Motorsport Australia next year. They actually run the Fanatec GT World Challenge. So I don't know the future for TCR Trans Am. It's going to be very interesting. So a lot of changes coming up for sure. And before we get into the schedule and stuff like that, there is a couple minor driver news, not supercars necessarily, but we've got, first off, we've got the Super 3 category. We'll now have, I think, 4 cars, or 3 cars now, for Sandown this year. We'll actually get a blueprint car back, an FG Falcon from Image Racing, which was actually a previously Stone Brothers Racing Falcon. What's his name here? Antonio Meluso from Victoria. He'll be racing that car. He actually raced that in the V8 touring cars in the past, especially for the Victorian series recently. So at Sandown, I believe, as well. So it's good to see another Super 3 car. In saying that, though, unfortunately, I don't think Super 3 will last next year. It might just straight up be Dunlop Series, and that's how it should be, to be honest. Because two or three cars racing for a championship is just ridiculous. Shouldn't count, in my opinion. Hixie Cams would look sick purple and black. Ooh, I am a sucker for purple and black. Just a shout out to Rory here on YouTube. I haven't actually seen the chat yet, so I do apologize, Rory, if you messaged like a long time ago. But who do you think will get the final premiere seat? Well, good question. Now that Brody Kostecki's been locked in for DJR, it could potentially, well, now that Anton is there too, it could be, ooh, that's a good question. Because a lot of, Tim Slade could well and truly stay there, who knows? Mark Winterbottom, I don't think he'll go there, but he could. Todd Hazelwood could as well. Maybe even, well, Cam McLeod, he's co-driving for them this weekend for the first time ever. He could well and truly jump over there. It'll be interesting for sure. But yeah, like the fact that Anton's gone to 18 and Brody's gone to Dick, it's going to be, it has really spiced up the whole entire field. It's going to be very interesting for sure. Stanaway could well and truly be there with Boost too. That's a really good shout if they could, but that's if Peter Exibris actually wants that to happen. Yeah, Bryce, I don't know too much of SRO, but Speed Series has been up in the air for a while now, actually, because of course ARG actually owned them previously, and then Motorsport Australia took over, and then we said it in the past, we don't see much of it these days, and stuff like that. Oh, Dylan O'Keefe, that's a good shout for Premier Racing. Of course, he has got a bit of history with them. And actually, in saying that as well, I want to point out, we'll go over the roster soon, but David Russell will be racing that car as well this weekend. Really good pairing. Of course, he raced with Erebus with Brody, but it's going to be very interesting. But no, good question, Rory. It's going to be really interesting for sure. I do apologize, I missed your chat before, mate. But yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure for that one. And the next driver, I feel like I'm all over the shop. So sorry about that, but it is what it is. That's how my brain works. Last but not least, in terms of news, before we get into the meat of things for Sandown at least, is that Zach Best will be racing at the track this weekend in the Porsche Carrera Cup Series. He'll be teaming up with EMA Motorsport, EMA Manthey, in race one of their Porsche Carrera Cup GT 992s. I'm very excited to see how he does. It's a great opportunity. Of course, he went to the Nürburgring in late July to test for them, and it sounded pretty promising. So he might have another go at being in Motorsport again next year. Of course, he's been very quiet since he left Super 2, unfortunately. And of course, he is racing at in the Super Utes at Bathurst this year with Shaw and Partners and Southern Cross Truck Rentals as well, which is really cool. Yeah, Bryce, I agree. He will go well with EMA. Of course, last time out, EMA, last time they competed in the Carrera Cup, they actually clean swept the weekend with Harry King there. I'm very excited to see how they go. That's for sure. And actually, I can show you the livery here. As you can see there, it looks very nice. It looks very eye-racing, to be honest. Yes, it's a render, but I mean, like, in terms of liveries, it looks very simple, but I really love white. I'm a sucker for white. So there you go. But that is all the news, at least for now. Let's have, actually, I might as well keep that on here, because let's have a quick look at the schedule for Sandown. Once I find it, there it is. Look at that. Oh, who made that? Look at that. LTM. Oh, who are those guys? Yeah, I was too busy laughing at myself. Let's have a quick look at the Super 2. Oh my goodness, I actually forgot about Jack Perkins here, who was not going to race Super 2 this weekend, but now has officially been approved. Supercars have finally used their common sense and allowed Jack Perkins to race, as they should. The fact that he was told he wasn't allowed to race was utter nonsense and quite criminal in a way. But I'm excited to see what Jack does, because of course the content, for those that don't know, I did make an article and a video on YouTube and ltmotorsport.com if you want to check that out for yourselves another time. But I'll quickly brief over what happened. Is basically Jack made a deal with Shaw and Partners, a 2-race deal to Townsville and Sandown, I think last year. But that was prior to the knowledge, or prior to the rule actually being implemented, stating that in order for a co-driver to race in Super 2, they have to at least compete in the first 3 rounds of the Super 2 series. Now, Jack has technically only completed 1 of those 3. And he actually applied for an exemption. That got denied, but then a petition actually went around the public community. A whole heap of people signed it, went to Supercars, and bing, bang, boom, they actually changed their minds and approved him. I think it's he's not necessarily there to gain track knowledge and stuff like that, Bryce. He's actually there mainly for the retro round itself. Like, he's planning on giving out cherry ripes and stuff. He just wants to honor the heritage of the sport. And given how Sandown was once, and technically in a way still is, the retro round, which, by the way, it should compulsorily be, or mandatorily be, the retro round, in my opinion. I think that's why he got an exemption after all. At the end of the day, he's there to help promote the sport and celebrate its history. That's how I see it anyway. But let's have a quick look at the Dunlop Super 2 Series schedule. Friday night. This, by the way, this is Australian Eastern Standard Time, track local time, or as Bryce likes to call it, normal time. 9:50 a.m. is practice 1, followed at 2:05 is practice 2. Saturday, we've got qualifying at 11:30, and then race 7 is at 4:25 p.m. I think it goes for about 40 minutes or so. Whether, based off Super 2's running, whether we see much running will be interesting, given how many crashes there are. Sunday, 9:55 will be quali, and then 12:40 will be the last race of the weekend. But I'm excited to see that. Last time Super 2 went out, that the car that Jack's using didn't do quite well. It was heavily damaged after a crash with Brad Vaughan and Zach Best, I believe, from memory last year, with Aaron Love behind the wheel. It's going to be interesting. So, no, Bryce. So, what Bryce asked in the chat, by the way, is could hypothetically J-Dub jump in a Super 2 car for the weekend? Or any co-driver. So, no, that's what that rule stops them. Okay. That's what that rule stops them from doing it. That's why Jack couldn't do it in the first place, because a co-driver wanting to compete at Sandown and Bathurst in Super 2, if they want to do double duties, they must already be competing in the Super 2 series full-time. And they must already be competing in the first 3 rounds of the year. So, for example, J-Dub and Scotty Pye, for example, have not done that. Therefore, they're not allowed to race Super 2 this weekend. So that's what that rule basically is. It's to stop the top runners from gaining extra mileage in a way. And that's why Paul Dumbrell did a full season and stuff like that years ago. That's just an example. Let's have a quick look at the Supercar timetable. Friday, it's a bit more full than Super 2. 10:45 is practice 1. 12:40, I think this goes for an hour each, I think, or something like that. Practice 2, which I think is a co-driver one only, is at 12:45, and at 3:40, practice 3. And then Saturday at 9:55, we've got practice 4. 12:05, practice 5. 2:15 is qualifying. And then at 5:25, like we said before, is the top 10 shootout. Sunday at 9:55, we've got the warm-up, which is about 10-15 minutes. And then at 2:05 is race 19, which is 161 laps, 500 kilometers. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be epic. I cannot wait. I love Sandown. I'm a huge sucker for it. And of course, it's the 60th anniversary as well, which makes it even more special. Practices are 40 minutes. Thanks, Bryce, for that. Appreciate it. Thanks for that, man. Just make sure. Yeah, cool. Hickser, yeah, it's a real shame to see Zane Morse not racing. It's a shame that Motorsport pulled out, and actually that gives a bit of a disappointing insight to Super 2 these days. Even Aaron Cameron actually pointed it out as well, how expensive it is. And he actually, I think Aaron Cameron said on a news thing or some, Super 2 is no longer justifiable. It's no longer viable to compete in because it's too expensive, which is ridiculous. It's not Formula 2. I think that's what some supercars need to remember. It's not F2. Because F2, you need like $2 million or something like that just to compete to have a seat. Which is ridiculous. Philip, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I would love to see that. The retro round gives great reception to the series, and like a good example of this is MotoGP this year. They ran because it was the 75th anniversary. They had a retro round at Silverstone, and it was fantastic. They even had a retro intro and all that. I listened to V8 Sleuth's podcast with Craig Lowndes the other day. They were talking about it, and it's very important to get a retro round because it just gives a nice history and nice, just celebrates the heritage of our sport that we love. And it's even better when teams get involved, like Triple Eight, for example, had caps and moustaches and stuff like that. Craig Lowndes had big ass sideburns back in the day, so that was fun. Just that, it's just even fun around the paddock as well. That's what I love, and I hope we can see that again next year or in the near future. It's a fantastic idea. Even Formula One should implement it, in my opinion, as well. But again, sponsors, I don't know if that sponsors, have a major factor in that decision or not. I guess, I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. Bryce, honestly, like I said, I think Jack purely just got approved just because of he's more celebrating the sport in a way. Yeah, I like seeing the old cars too. I love, like I sent to Bryce earlier on Instagram, the tribute livery to the 99 HRT cars. I love them. It's so sick. It's so cool to see those liveries back. And I remember when that's what I mean. Jack Perkins has got the yellow one from 1979 Bathurst 1000 when his father finished second alongside Peter Jackson. That car is beautiful, stunning. And I'm excited to see what Penrite does this year. Of course, yeah, that's right, Hixie. Penrite looked very cool last year. And Sean the Sheep, what a name, mate. What a name. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciate it, mate. Should I'm having a stroke. Should Sandown stay as the Enduro? And should Gold Coast go back to Enduros? Now actually, that's a very good question, because we've had that chat throughout the year, actually, when Alex joins me. Because it's very, it's true. I love Gold Coast. I love the racing. Last year was exciting, but I do really love the Enduro event there. It was really cool. Hopefully one day we can see that back again. Because of course next year we've got Bathurst and Sandown Bathurst and the Bend locked in as Enduros. So whether we see Sandown, fingers crossed we do. I'm looking forward to it. Hixie, yeah, Wington should be coming back next year. That's highly poised, as well as Queensland Raceway. So we're finally getting some good tracks back. Yeah, Michael, 3 should be the minimum. Of course, we haven't had 3 since 2019. Thanks COVID for that. But now the whole COVID period has really died down now. We should hopefully get, I don't know, I think it just comes down to money now, because Gen 3 is not cheap. Plus Supercars, I guess, don't like racing, I suppose. I don't know. Gold Coast should be the opener. Well, Bryce, I am a sucker to have a street circuit as an opener. Of course, we were blessed with the Adelaide 500 as the opener. Now that is the grand final, and I much prefer it that way. Gold Coast, I would love to see as an opener. Who knows, maybe the Perth round in 2026 could be the season opener with their new street circuit. I think that was a rumour floating around as well. That would be really cool. I'd love to see that. But I do love seeing Gold Coast and Adelaide rounding up the year. It's cool to round up the year with street circuits, but we just need more circuits in general. Because 12 is not enough, that's for sure. Especially when, actually, saying that, 11 circuits are not enough, because Bathurst, obviously, this is the second time we're going this year. Because we already did the 500 this year, the opener, which was not good, by the way. I hate when they go there at the start of the year. Bathurst should just stay as the 1000. It doesn't belong as a 500 event. Yeah, well, I've never been to Wington before, and I've heard great things about it. But I've driven around it on iRacing over and over again, and I love it. It's really fun. Bring back Homebush. That will be cool. Homebush copped a lot of hate, but I really loved it. I really like the track. I love street circuits. Canberra, bring that back for some reason. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. It's actually not it's not a really incredible track after all. After driving it on a Assetto, I'm not a humongous fan about it. But I loved Homebush. Homebush was fun. I really enjoyed the racing there. And we had some really good racing there too. And a lot of good memories there, of course, with the 2010 Sydney race, of course. Well, Hixie, that's the thing. If V8s don't start making changes to Dunlop 2 and some V8 drivers will start leaving for NASCAR and Indy, that's the thing. It's the lack of racing and the cost to compete. That's why AIM Motorsport is dropping out dropped out, sorry, from Super 2s just because the cost is just too much, especially for a feeder category. And that's why they should drop back to Project Blueprint and Car of the Future cars, because they're a lot cheaper and there's heaps lying around compared to the Gen 2 cars. Because the thing is, with Gen 2, a lot of those cars actually got sold, and they're not being made anymore, obviously. So there you go. Yeah, Paul Morris could well and truly be a huge benefit for the sport. I do respect his values and opinions, and love or hate Peter Adderton. I do kind of respect his values as well, and the fact that he is willing to have a say. All right, let's have a quick look at the track map for Sandown. Of course, this is the Sandown preview. So once I find it again, where the hell did it go? I've lost it. Fantastic. Oh my gosh, where the hell did it go? Oh, here we go. It's right in front of me. So it's a 3.1 kilometer circuit. It's a permanent circuit located in Victoria. It's a 500 kilometer race, 161 laps as we saw before. The lap record currently is owned by Will Davison back in 2022 with a 107.207. I don't think that will change this year. In terms of support categories, we have got obviously the Super 2 category as well. Touring Car Masters, as Bryce said, will be the last time they will be called Touring Car Masters. They're going to be Heritage Racing, Heritage Series or something like that, in Heritage Cars or something like that at Bathurst onwards. We've also got the 86 GR Cup. They're racing once again. Fantastic racing. Love those cars. And also the Korea Cup Series as well. They'll be racing there as well. And that's it in terms of support categories. So not a huge amount, which I'm not expecting a huge amount given how, Sunday, we've got a big race as well. Turn 1 is the hardest. Yeah, it is. It's so hard, so easily. You can so easily lock up heading into that corner. But if you get it right, I love it. Heading into Dandelion is so cool. It's so cool. Justin, how you going, mate? Supercars need to start season in February, finish in August, and have an endurance championship after. That's an interesting way. But it actually goes back in the day to when the Bathurst 1000 was not a championship race. The racing finished back in October, and then Bathurst happened, and that was it. Turn 7 will never be the same again. Yeah, it's had some history. But speaking of that, it's got a total of 13 corners as well. It's a fun little track. I absolutely love going there on iRacing. It's one of my personal favourites. And of course, this is the 60th anniversary of the Sandown 500 as well. Since 1964, they've been racing there. I think that's, no, sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. Since then, yeah. And then, of course, they went to Phillip Island for a moment there. They went to Queensland Raceway, and then they came back to Sandown for Enduros, which is, Enduro should always be at Sandown before Bathurst. Yeah, I like it. It spices it up because there were talks of maybe having like a summer series. Like, obviously, NASCAR are now officially in the playoff season. It does spice things up. Supercars might need a change. Now, I don't mind. As much as I love having the Enduros a crucial part of the championship, I do like it as a separate entity. Like, even if they can do that in a way, they can make it 4 races, for example. Like, if they finish in August and they start in February, they can maybe have 4 Enduro races. Like, that's when they can do once a month. I'm okay with that. They can then go to the Bend. They can then go to the Gold Coast again. Or they could revisit some tracks as Enduro formats even. That'll be cool. The One Raceway as well. That could be, that's been redone now. So that could be potentially done. Michael Maxfield, thanks for the follow, mate, as well. Really appreciate it. It's going to be interesting. Your boy Scotty, how you going, mate? How are you, man? Bryce, I missed that too. Yeah, the green shed is, I hate it. It's rewarding if you get it right, though, Jordan. It's rewarding. Yeah, I missed the old format too. Of course, this year we've only got qualifying and okay. Your boy Scotty, go to Calder. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, they should go there. Let's just race on the Thunderdome while we're at it. yeah, back to what I was saying, Bryce. This year, obviously, we got qualifying, the top 10 shootout. I do miss the 2 sprint races Sandown used to have. It was really cool, but the problem is it was causing too much chaos and crashes and stuff. Obviously, for example, we saw Todd Hazelwood's insane crash many years ago there during a sprint race. So I see why they did it, but I do miss it. I actually really loved the 20-lap sprint races. It was so cool. Justin Endurance Championship, Sandown, Bend, Bathurst, Gold Coast, Woodwork. Yeah, like it's not hard to do. Surely, you know it will still fit the calendar this year, for example. No, I'm all for that, because then even the supercar drivers might be more relaxed as well heading into Enduros if it's not for the main championship, you know, and they can actually enjoy it. Hixie Adelaide Enduro again. I never saw that. I remember back when they had I think, was it the Le Mans cars or prototype cars were racing there for 24 hours. That was really cool, apparently. Unless I'm making stuff up, but I was born in 2000, so I think the last race there was actually 2000. So there you go. But no, that was cool. I'd love to see an enduro there at Adelaide. I don't know if the state, the town would be a fan, because government doesn't like fun, but it could be very interesting for sure. All right, let's have a quick look before we wrap things up. Oh, by the way, guys, I think it's a soft tire round as well. Could be wrong. And there's also a lucky dog rule as well. Like I said, we've already covered this anyway, but for those who didn't see the other videos, the lucky dog rule is if a driver is a lap down and during a safety car period, if they're 1 lap down, by the way, during a safety car period, they will be allowed to pass and unlap themselves, which, like I said, for example, will help Cam Waters, who lost the rear wing last year. So, with that being said, let's have a look at the roster for this year's Enduros. So, obviously, car number 1, Brody Kostecki and Todd Hazelwood in the Erebus. Very intrigued to see how they go. Of course, you know, championship winner last year. Todd Hazelwood is a fantastic driver, in my opinion. Great pairing. They've had an up and down year in terms of the team, so who knows? But Brody did pretty good last time out. In last month. Yeah, Jordan, sorry, mate. I'm going to have to remind you again in a minute. The car number 2, Ryan Wood and Fabian Coulthard. Look, great pairing. Ryan has been really good this year. We've had some really good results. I'm very excited to see how he does. Car number 3, Aaron Love and Aaron Cameron, the 2 Camerons. Very intrigued to see how they go this year. Of course, Aaron did a wild card appearance last year. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Car number 4 this is funny. Car 3, we've got 2 Aarons. Car 4, we've got 2 Camerons. There we go. Yeah, Cameron Hill, Cameron Crick, excited for them. Cameron's a great steerer. Cameron Crick is a great steerer in his Eccleston car, but Cameron Hill as well. He's had a really good year with Matt Stone Racing. Aaron Watt, we do not talk about that, Bryce. I'm not screwing that up again. That could have ended my YouTube career there. Car number 6 is Cam Waters and James Moffat. Jordan, block your ears. But yeah, obviously last year they lost their rear wing on lap 1 or something. So they're going to be hoping to qualify up the front a bit more and hope for a better result. And saying that though, by the way, Jordan, you can unblock your ears. They've had a good car so far in the second half of the year. Since Townsville or something, they've really come alive, which is really cool and really promising. It actually makes me excited. Car number 7, James Courtney and Jack Perkins for Blanchard. Good to see them back together again. Of course, back in the good old days of Holden Racing Team, they were together. They did have some success as well. So it was, who knows what happens this time around. Blanchard is a bit of hit and miss in terms of car performance. Of course, they had a top 10 shootout appearance, front row appearance, I believe, at Townsville. And then they dropped all the way down to 15th. So it's going to be interesting. Car number 8 is Andre Heimgartner and Declan Fraser. Great pairing. Declan, in my opinion, deserves a full-time seat still. Unfortunately, it's not enough. But curious to see how he does with Andre this year. Car number 9, Jack LeBrock and Jada, the 2 J's. Excited to see how they go. Like Jack has had a pretty good year so far for Erebus. He's done really well. Jaden's a great steerer as well, so I'm very excited to see how he does. And then we've got Nick Percat and Dylan O'Keefe for Matt Stone Racing. Great pairing. Nick has seen quite some decent success this year with 2 race wins. So I'm very stoked to see how they go together. It's a fantastic car. This circuit might suit them. I guess we'll see what happens. Car number 11, Anton Di Pasquale and Tony D'Alberto. Most certainly probably going to be their last appearance together in Supercars, with Anton shifting teams next year. Jackson Evans and Dean Fury in car number 12 for Brad Jones Racing. Of course, they're technically car number 50 this year. Then we've got car number 14, Bryce Forward and Jalen Robotham. It was weird actually seeing Bryce go to podium in Tasmania. So we might see some, who knows what happens. Maybe he might get another Stephen Bradbury moment. See what happens. Mad Dog, how you going, mate? How are you, man? Percat and O'Keefe for a Smoky for Sandown. Yeah, keep an eye out for them. That's for sure. That's what I would say. Your boy Scotty, Ryan Wood, Fabes for the win. I do sound muffled. I'm sorry. I am sick. I'm trying my best. I can feel it. It's bugging me. Yeah, moving on. Car number 17, Will Davison and Kai Allen. I'm actually really stoked to see how these guys go. Of course, Kai will be moving to Penrite next year. Fantastic experience for him to be alongside a very experienced supercar driver. Of course, this is his second appearance in the main game for Kai. And he'll be more relaxed. But actually, both of them will be more relaxed now that they have secured their seats for next year. Speaking of non-secured seats, Mark Winterbottom, unfortunately, obviously not racing next year with Team 18 in car number 18, alongside the gear shift man himself, Michael Caruso. Hopefully they've got about 6 gear shifts ready to change. If you know, you know. Car number 19, Matt Payne and Garth Tander. Very, very excited to see how they go. Matt's been very, very good this year. Garth is definitely a talented driver as well. Of course, he won Sandown back in... I can't remember if he won it with Shane or not. But I do remember when he won it for HRT in 2016, I believe. Then we've got David Reynolds and Warren Luff. Great pairing. Love Warren, is a fantastic co-driver. Tim Slade and Cam McLeod. Of course, Cam's first time in the main game. He'll be looking to impress, especially if there's a potential seat on the cards. It'll be very interesting to see. Car number 25, Chazzy Moster and Lee Holdsworth. Definitely one to keep an eye out for sure. Absolutely. Hicksy, don't lose a wheel again. That's right. That was so strange when that happened. That was so strange. Okay, thanks, Bryce. SVG has never won the Sandown 500. Thanks for that. So there you go. Then we've got Richie Stanaway and Dale Wood. Richie will also be trying to impress. Of course, I think he won in 2017 with Cam Waters. So he'll be looking for a bit of weather as well to recreate that success. Of course, he's out of a seat. James Golding and David Russell. Very excited to see this pairing. Of course, David was with Brody for the last couple of years. Very excited to see how they go. And James is a fantastic talent. Car number 55, the Sexy Mobile with Thomas Randall and Tyler Everingham. They have been rather strong as well with Cam Waters. Still hunting for their first win. Could have been Thomas's last round in Tasmania, but unfortunately he blew it. But hey, never say never. He's slowly getting there. So it's a long race. Anything can happen, but they've got the livery behind them. Hopefully they can get the win behind them too. And then we've got car number 87, Will Brown, Scott Pye, the championship leader. It's going to be very interesting to see how they go. Scotty Pye obviously was Team 18 last year. Now in the Triple Eight car this year. I'm very excited to see how he does there. Car number 88 is going to be hard to beat. Brock Feeney and Jamie Whincup. Usually how I see it, if they win Sandown, they probably most likely won't win Bathurst because Jamie Whincup has no luck there. Ever since 2012, he's had no luck. Which is crazy because that's the last time he was that's the last time he won Bathurst, which is crazy. And then we go to car 96, Macaulay Jones and Jordan Boys, Matt Charter in the 118 with Brad Vaughan. Very excited to see how they go, like I said. And Triple Eight, Cooper Murray and Craig Lowndes. Cooper actually really impressed me in Darwin and obviously impressed Barry Ryan to get a seat for next year. So I'm very excited to see how they go this round as well, and Bathurst. We might see a top 10. Who knows? Before I get into the rest of the questions here, let's have a quick look at the current pit order as we head into Sandown. So Red Bull still will be the front ones at the moment, but Walkinshaw will be behind them, with Tickford behind them. In the fourth garage spot, we've got Dick Johnson Racing and then Penwright Racing. Matt Stone Racing in the sixth slot. Seventh is Erebus. They've moved up one slot ahead of Team 18. They've swapped each other. Then we've got Premier Racing in ninth. They're still hunting for their first podium. I don't think they're going to get it this weekend. Who knows? Might surprise me, though. And then Brad Jones Racing takes up the next four garage slots. And then Blanchard Racing has number 12. And technically here we have got the wildcard event, the two wildcards. We've got Super Cheap Auto with Matt Charter. I think they're together from my understanding. So there you go. That's how that is going to be. But that's the Sandown 500 preview. Before we wrap this up, let's have a quick look at some questions in the chat. And of course, if you're on TikTok, we'll stick around for another 5-10 minutes. Let's see here. Your boy Scotty, Stanaway won't be full time again. Yeah, he's had an interesting career in supercars and not a very good one. Of course, he got fired at Gary Rogers, and then he had a tough year at Tickford when he started, and then he left, came back, won Bathurst with Shane Van Gisbergen last year, came back for a seat this year, and already lost it. And the fact that he was already locked in for next year, and he still got kicked out, it just shows he's probably not cut up to race full-time in supercars. He's a talented driver, but, it might not, his supercars isn't for everyone, He might be good as an enduro driver, though. Bryce Thomas needs to super GT engine. Yeah, he does. They'll do a cheeky little engine swap. There you go. Ixie, imagine Frosty co-driver with Chaz next year after Pepsi. Oh, that'd be cool. Good, cool to see the old Pepsi crew back together. Of course, 2015, Chaz was robbed from finishing 1-2, I think, in the championship after his horrible crash at Bathurst. That's for sure. Jordan, yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, he has a great backing with boost, so Peter Adderton might whip something up. Who knows? Super Tube car will be a smoky. It'll be interesting. I'm excited to see how they go, though. I really love the look of the car. Ooh, your boy Scotty, Walkinshaw 1-2 this weekend, mate. I would be loving that a lot. I'll absolutely love that. I'm a fan of Walkinshaw, so I'd love to see that for sure. For sure. Bryce, obviously, you got CL, but if Cooper has the same pass as Darwin, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, the thing is, he showed quite a lot of promise in pace. Unfortunately, the races didn't go any way he hoped, but if they can get a good start and stay out of, pace. If he gets a good start and the car is actually decent, we might see a good result. I'm not going to say they're going to get a podium or a win, no way, but maybe a top 8 even. I'll be happy to see. That'll be really, really cool. But that seems to be all the questions. So we're going to wrap this up. So thanks everyone who has tuned in tonight. I really enjoy these live podcasts. It's very unique. You don't normally see it anywhere these days, especially in the supercars world. Well, that's the thing, Bryce. Well, actually, you point that out. The co-driver doesn't start. According to Craig Lowndes, Craig is going to be the main driver. According to the interview that he had with Aaron Noonan, Craig will be the main driver. And in saying that too, the co-drivers I think have to start the race at Bathurst. So that's another rule that I tried to forget about. That was announced back in the beginning of the year. But yeah, no, Craig Lowndes will be the main driver for the 888 car. Whether he qualifies, Craig said, will all be up to if Cooper is faster than him and has the confidence. So I guess we'll see what happens. Oh, the main driver starts at Bathurst. Yeah, it's a stupid rule anyway. They should get to choose whatever they want. See, I've just forgotten that brain. I've forgotten that out of my brain, But yeah, no, thanks everyone who has tuned into this podcast, whether you're watching this as live right now or you're watching it as a playback. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe as well for more supercar content, follow Spotify, and give us a 5-star rating. It does help us get out there more. Check out ltmotorsport.com as well. That's where all the latest motorsport news will be added, I suppose. That's where we'll do that. It's also a great way to keep up to date with all our content. So all our videos, this podcast will be uploaded on the website as well as the LTM show, which is already up there. It's going to be awesome. Highly recommend checking out. Stelio, who designed the website, has done an incredible job. It looks absolutely stunning, and he's made it so easy to access and use. It's incredible. So Stelio from Block Chat has done an incredible job to put that together. But yeah, that's all from me for now. Stay tuned for next week. We'll be doing a Sandown review. Also keep an eye out for our LTM show, which is our show on Radio Italiana. And next weekend is a massive weekend, at least for me and for any Adelaideans or South Aussies. Next weekend is the famous Australian International Pedal Prix. It's the 24-hour race at Murray Bridge. It's actually the largest HPV, which stands for Human Powered Vehicle, racing event in the world. It's going to be epic. We've got about 162 bikes ready to race. Got qualifying and top 10 shootout Friday, followed with the 24 on the Saturday. It's going to be epic. I'll be commentating all weekend, so if you're there trackside, I'll see you there. It's a fantastic atmosphere. But until then, I'll see you next week on the podcast, hopefully. Hixie, I will not be going to Bathurst, not be going to Sandown, unfortunately, but if anyone's going to Adelaide 500, hope to see you guys there. But now that's all for me. Bye for now.